Hello and welcome to the second lecture of The Art of Hacking Humans, Introduction to Social Engineering, presented by Dauda Sudi. In this lecture, we take a look at a brief historical perspective of social engineering. Technically speaking, every one of us must have engaged in a form of social engineering or the other at some point of time in our lives. Sometimes to get something, you might have to do something to encourage the person that is going to give that to you to do that. Children often adjust their behavior to get goodies from their parents. And parents, on their own part, may give the children an impression that they are going to give them a reward, like ice cream or something, for good behavior, just to encourage them to do that. Or they can also give them something to scare them, like telling them the bogeyman could be coming after them in order to make them behave. Even within adults, there could be some ego massaging to ensure we get something done or to get prompt results. Some may even engage in psychophancy and things like that, like adjusting behavior just to achieve a goal, to get something done or to get something. Also, there's the carrot and stick approach to getting things done, which can also be seen as a form of social engineering. Essentially, social engineering involves persuasion to get another person to do what you want. That is, of course, from a positive point of view. But in terms of cybersecurity, social engineering has a negative perspective and is mostly used by criminals for criminal purposes. Social engineering for criminal purposes is not new and has been used by criminals and malicious individuals from time immemorial. We have dupes, con men, money doublers, Ponzi schemes, and what have you, which can be seen as predecessors of the modern day social engineering techniques. There are some gimmicks used by criminals, like some kind of bait. For example, a damsel in distress with her car broken down somewhere in the woods in a remote area where there's nobody to help out, and a good citizen stops to help her out, only to get mugged by a gang. So this kind of attack has been modified in cybersecurity into modern day baiting attacks. We will take a closer look at baiting in one of the upcoming lectures. In the 16th century USA, there was a scheme con artists were using to dupe individuals, which was known as the Spanish prisoner. It involved a con artist claiming there was a wealthy individual locked up in a prison somewhere in Spain who needed assistance in terms of funds to get released. The con artist claims he was enlisted by the wealthy individual to help raise funds to secure his release, upon which he would reward anyone who assisted with part of his wealth, and after repaying the funds used to secure his release. The con artist, of course, vanishes after collecting the funds. In some cases, the con artist may even come with a pretty lady, claiming she's the wealthy individual's daughter and that her hand will be offered in marriage in addition to the reward that will be offered for the assistance in getting him released. This is a predecessor of modern day 419 email scams. We will also take a look at that in one of the coming lectures. Another example of a social engineering attack that was widespread in the past, and this one was in the 19th century France, was the letter from Jerusalem. It was used to mainly target aristocrats. So the con artist claims there's an aristocrat who had lost some wealth, like a box of jewels or something, and needed funds to pay off those engaged to search for the missing wealth. The aristocrat who provided assistance was promised that he would be rewarded from the wealth when recovered. And of course, they were not, rather, they lost their wealth to the con artist. The scam was said to have had a 20% success rate by Eugene Francois Vidocq, who was a reformed criminal who partook in such crimes in his memoirs. The scam specifically targeted the aristocracy and could be seen as a predecessor to modern day phishing scams, especially spear phishing. from the preceding, we can see that social engineering is nothing new and has been with us right from time immemorial. It is part of our inherent nature, and it has also come in the form of various scams like Molly Doublers and what have you. And in history, there have been notable scams like the Spanish prisoner and the letter from Jerusalem. So that brings us to the end of this lecture, a brief history. See you in the next lecture.